dear students, how are you? I hope all of you are doing good in homes, isn't it? Are you ready for today's class? Then let's start our today's class. What we have studied in our last class, do you remember that? Then all of you say with me, what we have discussed in our last class. In our last class, we have studied some speciality of plants that they can prepare their food by themselves by the process of photosynthesis. Do you remember that name? Photosynthesis? Yes. Then we studied about different types of pigments present in plants and which gives different colors to the plants. Isn't it? In today's class, we have to study some more new topics. Are you ready for that? Then let's start. First of all, let me show you some pictures of indoor plant decoration that we can see everywhere. Nowadays, we can see this type of indoor plant decorations everywhere, such as in homes, hotels, offices, etc. Do you like this type of decorations? It's very nice to see, isn't it? Is it benefit in growing this type of plants inside home and all? Is it helpful to get more oxygen at the time of night when we are planting trees inside the homes? Do you know anything about it? So in today's class, we are going to discuss about that. We know that every organisms are respiring, isn't it? Likewise, plants also respiring day and night. At the time of respiration, what we are doing? We are breathing oxygen and we are releasing carbon dioxide to the air. That we have already studied, isn't it? Likewise, at the time of respiration, plants also absorbs oxygen and releases carbon dioxide to the air. So plants also respiring like all other organisms. At the time of photosynthesis, only plants are absorbing carbon dioxide and releasing oxygen to the atmosphere. At the time of respiration, like all other organisms, plants also absorbs oxygen from the air and they are releasing carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. Or if you look at this picture, here you can see that at the time of respiration, like every organism, plants also absorbing oxygen from the atmosphere and releasing carbon dioxide to the air. Only at the time of photosynthesis, plants are absorbing carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and releasing oxygen to the atmosphere. Then, let me ask some questions to you. Is it photosynthesis possible at night? Anybody say the answer? Is it photosynthesis possible at the night? I can't hear you. Say loudly. No. Why it is not possible at night? We have studied that sunlight is an essential factor for the process of photosynthesis. So, as there is no sunlight, photosynthesis is not possible at the time of night. So, we know that as there is no sunlight in night, only respiration will take place. At the time of respiration, like every organism, plants also absorbing oxygen from the air and they are releasing carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. So when we are keeping a plant inside our house, at the time of night, we need oxygen to breathe and we are breathing out carbon dioxide. So the plant which we kept in our home also needs oxygen to breathe in and it breathes out carbon dioxide. So we can understand that there is no benefits in growing plants inside rooms and all. Sometimes it may cause some difficulty to breathe because we need oxygen to breathe. At the same time, the plant which we kept inside our room also needs oxygen. So sometimes it leads to lack of oxygen that causes difficulty in breathing. So we can understand that there is no use in growing plants inside room. Then if it is growing in a small room, sometimes it leads to difficulty in breathing to us. Is it clear? So we can understand that there is no benefits in growing plants inside home and all. Is it clear? Then let's move on to the next topic. We have studied that plants have the capacity to produce their own food by themselves by the process of photosynthesis. There are some other plants which cannot prepare the food by themselves. Such type of plants are called as parasitic plants. We are going to study in detail about the parasitic plants. So parasitic plants are the plants which cannot prepare their food by themselves and they are depending other plants for their food. Such type of plants are called as parasitic plants. Let me write here. Parasitic plants. Parasitic plants are the plants they cannot prepare their food by themselves and they are depending other plants for their food. There are two types of parasitic plants such as total parasite and semi-parasite. There are two types of parasitic plants. They are total parasite and semi-parasite. Total parasitic plants are the plants they are completely depending on other plants for their food. Semi-parasitic plants are the plants they are absorbing the nutrient and the water and minerals from another plant and they are preparing their food by themselves. Such type of plants are called as semi-parasitic plants. Is it clear? Parasitic plants are the plants they cannot prepare their food by themselves and they are depending other plants for their food. Then the plant on which these plants live are known as host plant. The plant on which these parasitic plants live are known as host plant. Then there are two types of parasitic plants. First type, total parasite, and second one, semi-parasite. Total parasites are the plants they are completely depending other plants for their food. The examples are Cuscuta and Rafflesia. Have you heard about Rafflesia earlier? Rafflesia is the largest flower in world which depends other plant for its food. So total parasitic plants are the plants they completely depend on other plants or the host plant for their food. Examples are Cuscuta and Rafflesia. Then semi-parasitic plants are the plants they are absorbing water and minerals from the host plant and they are preparing their food by themselves. They are absorbing water and minerals from the host plant and it is preparing its food by itself. Such type of plants are called as semi-parasite. The example for semi-parasitic plant is Loranthus. You can see here the example for total parasite such as Cuscuta and Rafflesia, and here is a picture of semi-parasitic plant, that is Loranthus. You can observe the picture here. It's an example for semi-parasitic plant. Is it clear? Then there are another group of plants which depends on other plants for their shelter only. The plant which depends on other plants for their shelter is called epiphyte. Let me write the term here, epiphyte. Epiphytes are the plants they depend on other plants for their shelter. Shelter means a place to live. Then, have you saw orchids? There are different varieties of orchids, isn't it? Then it's very nice to see. Then, Vanda is an example for a common type of orchid, which is an example for epiphytic plants. Epiphytic plants are the plants they depend on other plants for their shelter. Have you saw the roots of orchids? Orchid plants are having thick roots. These roots are having a special capacity, that is, they can absorb moisture directly from the air. Using that moisture, they can prepare their food by themselves. So they are depending other plants only for their shelter. So epiphytic plants are the plants they depend on other plants for their shelter. The example is Vanda or different varieties of orchids. Is it clear? Then we have to study another type of plants that is known as saprophytes. Let me write the term here. Saprophytes. Saprophytes are another group of plants. They are depending on dead or decaying matters for their nutrients. Saprophytes are another group of plants. They are depending decaying matter to get the nutrients. Then here is the examples for saprophytic plants. So, saprophytic plants are the plants, they are depending decaying matters to get the nutrients. The examples are Neotia and Monotropa. Then there are another examples of saprophytes. They are bread molds and mushrooms. Do you know which is bread molds? When we are keeping a packet of bread without packing properly, we can see that after some days a blue color powder is spread over the bread. Isn't it? That is known as bread mold, which is an example for saprophyte. So both mushrooms and bread molds are the examples for saprophytes, but they are not coming under the group of plants. They are fungi, but even though they are saprophytes. Is it clear? So let me conclude all the things we have discussed in today's class. First of all, we have discussed about the respiration taking place in plants. At the time of respiration, like every organism, plants also absorbing oxygen from the atmosphere and releasing carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. At the time of photosynthesis only, plants are absorbing carbon dioxide from the air and releasing oxygen to the atmosphere. Is it clear? Then we have discussed about different types of plants. First one, parasitic plants. There are two types of parasites. They are total parasites and semi-parasites. Total parasitic plants are the plants, they are completely depending on other plants for their food. Examples are Cuscuta and Rafflesia. Then semi-parasites are the plants, they are depending on other plants to get their minerals and water. The example is Loranthus. Then we studied about epiphytes. Epiphytes are the plants, they are depending on other plants for their shelter. Example is different varieties of orchids. Then we studied about saprophytes. Saprophytes are the plants, they are depending decaying matters to get the nutrients. The examples for saprophytic plants are Neotia and Monotropa. Then bread mold and mushrooms also example for saprophytes, but they are not plants, they are fungi. Is it clear? So I hope you have understood all the things we have discussed in today's class. So that's all for today. Thank you.